Welcome back, Wolfpack. Vrolis here, and this is how to use Emolga. Oh man, those stats are not pretty at all. So there's really not much to say about this. That I need to get that watch time and that viewer engagement going on, but I really can't right here. That we have 55 on hit points, 60 on defenses. That doesn't really mean much with 75 on the offenses. Like, you're not going to do any damage, and you're going to take a lot of damage, but 103 speed. 103 speed in itself is really nice, that a lot of sweeper Pokemon could use this instead of like having 90, 95. That 103 would be pretty nice because you're getting some cool outspeed, just like really specific stuff against Garchomp and Landorus, but on Emolga it's kind of wasted because the stats aren't really there. As for its typing, the electric flying typing tells me Emolga was really only made to give you the middle finger in black and white when you go up against the gym because, haha, I got ground types. Nope, not going to do anything to Emolga. Now the electric flying typing also interesting in its own, that we have rock and ice weakness. That's it. That's pretty solid. Then we have a resistance with fighting, flying, bug, steel, and grass. So I mean, if there was a bulkier Pokemon that got this, it would be pretty nice. But we also have a ground immunity. So really, Emolga doesn't make a lot of sense, but it does have a lot of really cool things going for it. Just the bits and pieces aren't there for the actual Pokemon. However, hopping into Pokemon Showdown, we all know Hayden. We all know that he has found hilarious success on Emolga, mostly just as an agility baton pass Pokemon, and it can set up into that really well because it has Encore. So the idea behind Emolga, you lead with it, they are going to go for some kind of setup. They might try to Stealth Rocks, they might try to Spikes, they might try to do some kind of status for you, they might go try to Swords Dance or boost for themselves. They might have their own baton pass strategy. The idea is you just try to do it better, which is why Encore is going to be so nice on Emolga. As for the stats, you have me beat. I really don't know what you can do here, that we can max out the hit points and we can go for some kind of stats to make it a little bit tankier, which means we have a better chance of setting up, but at the same time we want to be faster than the opponent even though we're using agility. So while it does seem counterintuitive, hear me out right here. We want to outspeed their lead Pokemon and use agility. So now they're going to throw out Stealth Rock, Status, whatever they're going to do for their entry, but now we get that Encore. So they get Encored and they just use the same move over because Encore is going to apply for that turn, so it means that they're locked into that move that they already used, so it's going to be an effective waste. Then they have to switch out. On that turn they switch out, that's when you go for the Baton Pass, and that's kind of all there is to it. You have Nuzzle as an extra option for utility, maybe in the mid game, because like Emolga is going to find a lot of just usage as that lead Pokemon. So if you know your opponent is going to fall for the tricks, try to tank up something, go for that Nuzzle, maybe then rely on the paralysis and see if you can get something from there. But overall, you just want to get those outspeeds and then go into the Baton Pass, and we can Baton Pass into wherever we want. However, it's a very, very simplistic Baton Pass. It's only going to be for that agility, so we need to use it wisely. Now, when Hayden used it, he used it on Executor, and it was freaking awesome because it has Harvest. So Patea Berry raises your special attack by 1 stage when you're at 1/4 hit points or less. So the idea is you outspeed your opponent because now you have all that goodness going on. And since we're going to be baton passing in where they're switching out because of the Encore lock, we're good to go. So substitute, take damage, substitute, take damage, substitute, take damage. Now Patea Berry activates and we get to go for whatever we want. With that Patea Berry activation, there's also a chance for Harvest, so we can get 2 procs. We could gain +2 on our special attack in 1 turn if the odds are with us, and then that means we have a massive special attack and a pretty solid speed, because agility, boosting that to over 400, outspeeding 135 base speed Pokemon, and then we carry the damage. Now, Psychic Giga Drain is interesting coverage, and Giga Drain's also a move that's kind of questionable, because if you're running the Executor, maybe you stay behind that substitute, maybe you're just able to blow up your opponent, maybe they're going for setup. They try to switch out to regain against your Executor, and then you still have the substitute up, so that could be pretty substantial if you're healing behind the substitute. You don't need to overkill on the Patea Berry, but at the same time, it's pretty nice if you're hanging around there, because, okay, now you're outspeeding your opponent, and you're one-hit KOing them with Energy Ball. So now they get knocked out, and you can just kind of wait for the Patea Berry to activate again, while you're just steamrolling through their team. So Energy Ball Psychic's going to be the main right there. Then you can go with like Hidden Power Ice or Hidden Power Fire. I like the Hidden Power Fire. They might try to bring in a Ferrothorn to like wall you out or something, but that's not going to work. However, with the Hidden Power Fire, it's not as necessary because you're Grass type, so you won't be able to get Leech Seeded, and Amoonguss can't use Spore against you. So you can also just go for the Hidden Power Ice and obliterate Dragon type Pokemon, but the Stab Psychic is pretty strong. And if we are going to be running all that special, then that means we can also go for the Psy-Shock. Psy-Shock is going to deal physical damage even though it applies with their special attack, so that means if they try to bring in a special wall, use Psy-Shock, you can break through that pretty well. And that's kind of really what Emolga is going to be good for. We almost spent more time, we might have actually spent more time talking about Executor or any other Pokemon. Any sub-berry Pokemon works in this situation. Any super bulky Pokemon. We've mentioned it quite a bit in the past, that there's a lot of guides where I'm like, man, you get some speed in this Pokemon, it's going to run away from battle, and then that Pokemon can have its own setup, or that Pokemon can have its own baton pass, and the chain continues. So Emolga's going to be good for that. As for the item, Focus Sash is kind of an option in this situation. It just kind of gives us an out. That way, even if they're going for the raw damage, we agility into Baton Pass, takes out the turn of Encore, but we do have to worry on that turn when we're switching in. But Executor can be somewhat bulky, so maybe it'll just survive in the red anyways, then we're getting the Patea Berry procs before we even start. Other than that, Emolga does work out in double battles. It's actually a pretty awesome support. It has some of the utility as a Pachirisu, so World Champion Pachirisu, but not as tanky. That Pachirisu has better tankiness, it does get access to the Follow Me, Emolga doesn't get Follow Me, and it also gets access to the Super Fang. Emolga doesn't get that either, so you have to work with it in different regards. However, you can set up Tailwind, you can use Air Slash, you also have Charm, Light Screen, you can carry Nuzzle as well. The idea behind this, set up Tailwind, now your other Pokemon's super fast, so you throw down the Charm if they have physical threat, Light Screen if they have special threat, and then Air Slash, maybe you'll get the flinch, or maybe it's just a little bit of damage because it is stab in the end, but it's not going to be a lot. Actually, since we are going to be using the Air Slash, Careful Nature isn't going to work. Calm is better in this situation, Careful if we are running the Nuzzle, or we can even carry the Knockoff. So Knockoff's going to be item removal on top of that. But that's really it. You do get access to Roost, but this is where we start getting into like a really heavy move slot syndrome. Do we want to Emolga around just to set up Charm, Refresh, Tailwind, and Light Screen while hiding behind that Roost? It could be bad for us if we are the last Pokemon on the field, but at the same time, our Nuzzle, our Knockoff, or our Air Slash, very, 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 very rarely is it actually going to win us a game by actually having damage. So that's kind of the trade with Emolga. I don't know what it can bring that other Baton Pass Pokemon can't. As for the abilities, because I didn't even talk about them to this point, Motor Drive, it works out if you have a lot of electric weakness, like you have some flying type Pokemon or some water. Just get to bring in Emolga safely, but then it's kind of like not really using it as a lead, so it's a bit riskier. I do like Static more just in general, because if they're going to be making contact with you while you're doing your Encore setup, so you know, they do a physical hit that makes contact or something, Focus Sash activates, they might get paralyzed. So that could get pretty neat if it works out really well. That's really it. So that's all I can find out about Emolga. If you guys enjoyed the video, that's how you use Emolga, and I hope you all have a nice day. Thank you for watching.